Okay, so I finished watching Meg Myers, The Underground, and it reminded me of Good in Goodbye by Madison Beer. So it's like they're fighting, like we're fighting the left and right brain, feminine and masculine energies. When we're supposed to combine the energies. We're supposed to combine the energies. So notice in the end how Meg Myers falls through the hole and is walking with her other side. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to walk with our darkness. We're supposed to walk with the dark night of ourselves, the dark side of ourselves, and our light selves. We're supposed to combine both. That's all. That's all we gotta do. Just love ourselves, essentially. Like, that's the message in both. Like, notice how the earth was destroyed in Madison Beer's Good and Goodbye. And they were on the moon. The moon. That's where I'm from. What? Like, and the album is called Life Support. This one's by Madison Beer. Oh, I want to analyze this. Notice how all the spiritually woke people have been most likely sent to mental hospitals, me included. And she practically in a mental hospital. You couldn't tell me I'm not speaking truth when the universe is literally sending shit like that. But she's just locked up, right? And this dude in front of her is telling her how she's so lucky to be a part of humans, an experiment. And I remember in the first mental hospitals I've been in, there's hella cameras. Like the ones in Peru, no cameras, but it was intensive. Anyway, Florida. Fort Myers, I believe. I was locked up. 9 days, did not see sunlight. Cameras everywhere. And that just reminds me of like this. I forgot what it's called, but it's spelled with an O. Where they did this prison experiment where they put in the center of the prison a big building with like security or cameras or whatever, so all the prisoners would feel watched. And that just fucks with your mind really bad. So anyway, back to the video. Okay, so Madison was obviously drugged and brought to this place because she looks so very fucking confused as to why the fuck she's there. Like, just. She's like, what the fuck is going on? And she's tied up to this. She's like, she has this thing in her arm. And then this TV is turned on. And it's called Life Support. Labs. Life Support. So notice how. Okay, this is the upside down. Where they literally make us think that they're taking care of us with these hospitals, but really they're just making shit worse because we know everything's about the food. We'd be fine if we ate actual food, not these chemicals, not this bullshit. Then he's egocentrical, where he's literally like, I'm the founder of this place. Like, you should listen to me. I have money. I'm rich. I'm awesome. I have authority. You're nothing compared to me. Hierarchy. Then he uses love bombing, gaslighting, by saying, thank you for being a part of the future. Okay, sure. My work. So again, he's using this superiority complex to speak with Madison through a TV screen, which is very, like, it's not personal, you're not really communicating with this person, and you're just kind of being like, yo, you're under my control now, and you can't do anything about it. And you can't even speak your truth because I'm not there physically. Though you could still hear me, you know what I mean? Because we're all connected, but point being. Okay, but why does it have to be the future of science? Why can't we just live in the present? Why do we always gotta, what? I don't know. Then he talks about how it's controversial. Bitch, you know the difference between right and wrong. No matter your religion, right and wrong is something everybody knows. Her Lord is coming. And then he goes on to talk about, like, something about contemporary society. Like, what do you mean contemporary? Like, what does contemporary even mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, living occurring at the same time, beginning or occurring in the present. A person living or existing at the same time as another. That just blew my mind. So just think about the underworld, Meg Myers, and Madison Beer's The Good and Goodbye. There's the dark and the light. But it just, you gotta focus on the and. Like, this phrase, I think, said in Girl Meets World, where you gotta focus on the and, you know. I don't know if you know what episode I'm talking about. I don't even know what episode I'm talking about. That was so long ago. They look black on camera, but they're like green in my eyes. Notice how they just came down? And remember when I was talking about the aviation shit in my other video? And I'm itching. You know, you speak in truth when they send robots. Like, you mean to tell me there's loros in Miraflores, Florida, Peru? Yeah, okay, sure. Anyway, back to the video. They want us to be linear all the time. Sorry, it's 6:44. That's awesome. They label us with ADHD when we're actually thinking really quickly because we think too fast for them. That's why they want us to think linearly and focus all the time. Like, notice in school when you ask questions or when you want to read deeper into things, like, you're told, oh, you can't do that. Like, notice how I'm just all over the place? That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to connect the dots. Like, nothing makes sense unless you make it make sense to you. And you give it meaning. And they're all just right there. Like, they could be anywhere, but they're right there. Sounds affect you. Like, I'm sure these shits aren't even real. Just go to the Freedom Act CIA shit and scroll down. It says something about a quote, whatever. It starts with an A. Aviation, whatever. It's in my other video too if you want to do research. Day one of reading CIA documents. Back to the video. So then he's like, it's gonna fundamentally change humanity. So if they get all our information, study as well, they can completely control us if we let them, because we can't. Slaves cannot be slaves unless they want to be slaves. Unless they choose to be slaves. Slavery is a choice according to the Galactic Federation, which is also what Jada said in her live. I don't know if you saw that video, but it's called Scrolling Through Instagram and my other YouTube video. She said that you can't be a slave unless you choose to be a slave. But you can't, you know, it's easy to be a slave if you've been gaslighted for so long. So it's just... And then he's like, you're not gonna appreciate this now. And some of the shit's gonna be uncomfortable. Like, yeah, I've been there. I've been in a fucking mental hospital. None of that shit is comfortable. Y'all just manipulating, gaslighting the whole fucking time. And then making us take pills and shit. Like, just think of a rehab center. If you've been in a rehab center, you've been in a mental hospital, that shit's fucked up. That shit's extremely fucked up. Like, just... Like, let me search up the one I've been in. It's horrible. But pretty cool. See, I guess I had to be there. But it's just horrible. I hated it. Okay, shut the fuck up. They glorify the shit out of it. They make it seem nice. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. That's their Facebook page. That fence isn't there anymore. I'm just passing over this quickly just in case. Here's what I was looking for. Psychological, social, spiritual. Biological, psychological, social, spiritual confinement. This is a concentration camp. Because just think about it. Like, it's called Liberty. Liberty Group. Just think about what liberty is. We're just going to search up the definition. And what they be doing. Like, what they be doing. How is that liberty? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. The state of being free from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, political views. They made us take drugs. They forced religion on us. So just think about it. If you're taking drugs and you're waking up and having all these psychedelic abilities be awakened to you, and then what the fuck? Just what the fuck? Like, it's really... Oh, it's mind-boggling to think that when you're having a spiritually awakening, they call it a psychosis, and they lock you up. And I remember this TikTok was like, you need to search up CIA documents so you don't get kidnapped by the hospitals. And that's exactly what's happened to me through my spiritual awakening. I've been kidnapped many times, many fucking times, but they call it rescuing. But anyway, concentration camp definition. A place where large numbers of people, there was about 40, especially political prisoners, freedom of thought, or members of persecuted minorities, are delivered. Persecuted minorities. If you think about it, the majority is actually the minority. Like, I found it on Instagram a while back, but for some reason, okay, whatever. We're just gonna non-Hispanic white. Okay, why you gotta say non-Hispanic beforehand? Are you saying what? What? Okay, Hispanic of any race. Blah blah blah. Asian. Can you just think if we all just came together and actually just fucking, I don't know, worked together? Like, just add up all these numbers. Like, how much does that add up to? How much of the population rules the planet, you may ask? 1%. I searched it up, but it obviously won't show up. But point being, look at that. That's a lot of people. And you're gonna tell me that white is superior to 41%. 41.6%, according to this. 2019. It's not even updated. Because I'm sure a lot of the indigenous folk have been... What do you mean two or more races? Huh? This should be out of whack. Like, Persecuted minorities are deliberately imprisoned. Okay, what does it mean to be imprisoned? Let's search that up right quick, and then we'll get back to it. Put or keep in prison or a place like a prison. Okay, what is a prison then? A building which people are legally held as punishment for a crime or committed awaiting for trial. So the crime we committed was freedom of thought, essentially, and just freedom. Just be free. Life is your birthright. They had that in the fine print. Take the pen and rewrite it. Bigger by Beyonce. Okay, so back to concentration camp. Imprisoned in a relatively small area with inadequate facilities. There was no water. We were constantly struggling with water. The water we drank was from the fucking faucets. Contaminated water. And the food we were given, Monsanto. Just... We were in a concentration camp. I was in a concentration camp. Sometimes to provide forced labor, we were forced to clean. Daily. Or await mass execution. Okay, but they killed our souls. For a minute. I'm still here. My ass ran away from that prison. I dipped. I ran. The term is most strongly associated with the several hundred camps. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But what about the ones in China? Like, you mean to tell me that I was not in it? That was a concentration camp. That was no fucking rehab center. Like, excuse me. 15 years. Bitch. Get a better job. Get an actual job. Like, find a purpose in life. Stop trying to fucking control everyone. Like, this is bullshit. Ugh. And they get paid $2,000 supposedly for each month, plus the $300 for each day that each person is in there. How much is that? Just think about it. I was there for 2 months. That's just for each month that a person is in there. For each person. How many were there? There was 40. About 40 or 50 people in there. So. Okay. That's a month. That's a month. And I lowered it because I'm sure there's about maybe 60 or something. Okay, there's... Now I'm gonna clear it and put how there's, what, $2,000 per person. And let's say there was 40, right? 40. Huh? Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Is there a history on this? How much was the... Okay, whatever. That's like, what was it, 36,000? This is how much is made in a year. My soul was sold. Sold out. Jhené Aiko. Sailing Souls? We had to ask to stand up, we had to ask to sit down, we had to ask to eat, we had to ask to enter the living room, we had to ask to leave the diner, we had to ask, you know, there's not enough space in here. Like, this place is literally disgusting. Like, I'm just... Do they even have pictures? They don't even... And look, it's whitewashed. It's whitewashed as fuck. Like, no, we did not have anyone teaching us any educational therapy. There was no one. It was just another victim leading the group. We did not have any art therapy. Again, this is extremely whitewashed because most of them are Venezuelan. And it's still whitewashed. Look at all this shit. White. How is that love? You're gonna tell me this is love? That's perverted. Look at that angle. I'm scared. Well, I'm shook. But I can relate, Madison. Guess we've both been there. Then she's forced to take medication. I'm talking about Madison Beer's beautiful. Waking up in a stranger's bed, that is highly dangerous. You can't just sell your soul like that. You can't just give up your temple to anyone. Then she's like, I'm a natural disaster. Did you know you can control the weather? And then she's forced to watch TV. I was literally forced to watch TV when I was fucking in the hospital. I mean, the concentration camp. Then she's talking about how she's addicted to the hell. She's addicted to the Matrix. She's literally stuck in the Matrix because, like, everything around her is being controlled and she doesn't even know it. Like, she's being psychologically abused. And it's like, how do you even defend yourself when you're literally told that defending yourself is wrong? Just think about pedophilia. Like, you're telling little girls to cover themselves up when you should be telling men or pedophiles to not be pedophiles. these aliens, you're supposed to tell these aliens to not fucking rape and take our blood because we are golden. They have to do it to supposedly gain power. Like, bitch, that's not. Wealth is unattainable with your currency. Power, that's not power. You're just being rude. You're just being rude. Heart is getting sick with the tar that's on your lips. All the lies that you're spreading is hurting me, is what she's saying. And she says you should hurt somebody else. And then that just reminds me of the video Glass. Like, you're hurting me so much, just wait till I explode and all this glass gets on you. They should be careful. Like, they want to test you. They want you to explode. Like, I remember I had a bad day. Not a bad day, but I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being a slave. And I just started yelling. I was done. I was like, I'm gonna go meditate. Why are you telling me what to do constantly? Like, everything was on a schedule. You gotta sleep at this time. You gotta wake up at this time. Do this at this time. This time. It was slavery. Like, this video that I watched on TikTok about how computers work versus how humans work. Like, I'll find it and I'll upload it. But it's just, it's a whole ass maze. It's a whole ass deal. It's fucking crazy out here. And notice how the thing is literally, like, the place she's locked up in is made of glass. And then she has the video glass. Like, she's being constantly watched, constantly observed. That's uncomfortable. And she just has a chair in there. Then there's other victims, you know, just cooped up in there, being observed. With bands on them. Just wearing this outfit. It's horrible. Ugh, triggering. That's really triggering. Diets that I shouldn't try. We're eating animals. Capitalism, communism, cannibalism. I wasn't recording. Am I recording now? Okay. But anyway. Social suicide. They were not watching us 24/7. But they were at the same time. You know, there was eyes everywhere. Everyone was constantly against each other. Social suicide. 22.